Imagine going to a workplace and you get a situation where the environment is purely positive. Imagine within this organization, anything that's deemed as toxic is frowned upon and discouraged. Imagine if you go into work in an organization where the managers are always looking at the silver lining and always looking to be solutions oriented. This whole push around having a growth mindset. Well, you see, this recent article that I just read that talks about toxic positivity, I think is a really important one because it talks about this idea of, is it important for you to create that utopia of positivity within your organization? And does it ultimately make people miserable? I mean, at the end of the day, we got to think about this. We as people can sometimes be miserable. We love gossip. And at the end of the day, there's something inside of us that actually likes seeing people fail. And it sucks and it's horrible. But there is an environment and there are things within us that desire that type of thing. But is it okay for it to be always positive? Or do you need an environment where you can experience a little bit of toxicity? This article written on January 24, 2023, and is entitled Good Vibes Only, Why Toxic Positivity in a Workplace Makes You Miserable. Within the article, Sarah Ahman actually says, when employees get the message at work that only positive feelings are acceptable, people can feel as though their only option is to look on the bright side. And on the surface, I'm going to be very transparent with you. I actually want to make sure I'm creating an environment that is positive. I've gotten to a point within my organization where I just know that people will gossip, people will talk. Something goes bad or something's going on with an employee, at the end of the day, I know for a fact that it will get spread throughout the building. My job as a leader is to make sure that I'm looking at those scenarios and deciding whether or not it requires my immediate attention or should I be addressing it indirectly on the back burner. But the article talks about the idea that it can get to a point where people become miserable when the culture is purely focused on positivity. According to the article, the term toxic positivity refers to the belief that no matter what, you always look for the silver lining when things go bad or sour. It's almost turning a blind eye to be like a focus on all the good things that have come up or a focus on all the things you're going to learn out of this. And this whole push around positivity is stemmed from this concept of having a growth mindset. For those of you who don't know, a growth mindset revolves around someone who looks at situations in life and use them as a learning experience. It's about looking at the bright side in the face of challenges and or issues, which I strongly agree with. The article did talk about a response from Dr. Sonia Kang, which says that when you create an environment where you want to make sure that you're looking at the positive outlook of things, then it can make, even when you're receiving negative feedback from your manager, that you have to be able to push your emotions to the side. The act of pushing your emotions to the side can create a sense of toxicity where a person may feel like it's miserable to work within that organization because you're unwilling to voice your concern and or communicate your frustration. The article did talk about a response from Amanda Hudson, which states that it's important that employers actually get down in the muck with their employees, especially when they are engaging in difficult and complex situations. She then went on to say that people actually need it sometime, especially if you want to bring and talk about the human side of the work that we actually do. Within the article, which I thought was actually really good, was that the article talked about how we can actually overcome this particular issue within the actual workplace. One thing that Dr. Kang actually said was that you want to create a culture of openness, and I strongly agree with that mindset. Listen, I think it is important within an organization to actually create boundaries around toxicity within the organization because it directly impacts morale, period. So it's extremely important that as an organizational leader that you create avenues and opportunities for people to be able to communicate. One thing that I do as a school leader is that I have a building committee. And this building committee's job is to find the problems and tell me about the problems. Essentially, the community, the teachers will talk to all the committee members. We have about 5 or 6 people. And these 5 or 6 people, they all work in different grade bands or in different departments, and they bring the problems to me. And my job is to hear the problems and then provide a solution to those particular problems. But heck, this is a real topic that I think every single person needs to evaluate, especially within an organizational structure. So what are your thoughts? What would you do, and what are your thoughts around toxic positivity? Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, stay hungry, stay motivated, stay focused, and happy planning.